The Vancouver Canucks return the favor on the Oilers, winning it late in the game. 3-2 is your final. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Oil Stream postgame show presented by GCL Diesel. Tom Gazzola live on location at a deflated Hudson's White Avenue. The vibes in here were good. It was tense. It was nervous. They were excited. And then when that puck went in with under 35 seconds left to play or 40 seconds left to play, deflated. Absolutely deflated. Bad bounce. Oilers weren't pressed. Well, the Oilers started press late in the third period, second period, and most of the third period, the Canucks were forcing the pace for sure. I should note, GCL Diesel, Edmonton's diesel fuel system specialist and providers of critical engine components for over 50 years. Join the conversation. Get at us via the text line. People already getting in there, 780-218-9999, or in the nasty chat on YouTube. I think Iwanik's moderating, so if it gets out of hand, he'll take care of business. The Oilers down 3-2 in the series, coming back home Saturday night, 6 p.m. That Game 6 will get going now that the Rangers have eliminated the Carolina Hurricanes. Also, YouTube Trev holding things down back at EST Global HQ. Matty Cassian about to join us shortly to help break everything down. Let us know your thoughts. Any questions, fire them our way. If you want to ask Cass some system stuff, technical stuff, we are all ears. I'll say this. I mean, the Oilers had a strong first period. We can give them that. You know, they had a couple leads, but you knew that they weren't out of the woods. You knew that Vancouver would push back. Vancouver did push back. And then Vancouver in that second period started to slowly take over the momentum. They kept pushing. They kept forcing. And Edmonton seemed like it was on its heels. And then in the third period, you thought, okay, maybe Edmonton can recapture some of the momentum it had in the first period. And that didn't really happen until I thought the last 6 minutes or so, where the Oilers finally started to get a little bit of zone time. The Oilers started to get a couple of pucks towards the net. Not necessarily great looks at Artur's Shilovs, that's for sure. Vancouver's defense did a good job of keeping the Oilers to the outside. But the fact that they were getting some zone time, getting a bit of a cycle going, maybe at the time a little bit encouraging, but it wasn't turning into anything. So ultimately, the puck comes back the other way in the last minute. Gets on net. I think it was Pettersson that got his leg on it. It bounces, hits the post, and then there's JT Miller to bang home the garbage, and the Canucks end up with the win. I'm going to throw a stat out there. I read it on the pregame show. I don't want to put salt in the wound of Oil Country, but this is just a fact. It's just a stat, and the Oilers looking to beat the odds in Game 6. The stat was when an NHL series is tied 2-2, the Game 5 winner has a series record of 231-61. Edmonton's record in that situation is 8-0 on closing out the series with the Game 5 win, while the Canucks are 3-1. The lone series loss came to Boston in the 2011 final to the Boston Bruins. So we'll see if the Oilers can beat the odds, but not really favorable for sure. But one game at a time, and it's been punch, counter punch, all series long. So I fully anticipate a counter punch. I fully anticipate that Rogers Place is going to be rocking with the Oilers' backs against the wall. We've seen them in this situation before. They came back from behind in a couple series in the last few years, and they're going to have to do it again. No ifs, ands, or buts. They're going to need their big guns to be a lot better than they were tonight, and we'll see if the crowd can help, home ice can help, and they can force a seventh game in this series. All right, 780-218-9999, and the nasty chat continues to hum along nicely. Let's get to Matthew Iwanik. I'll get to Matthew Iwanik's text in a little bit here. Let's get to YouTube, Trev. Dude, how you holding up? Are you okay? Are you okay? You gonna be all right?
Yeah. We're doing good. Tough way to finish that game, Tommy. It's always tough to lose late, especially in the playoffs, right? And the matter of fashion that they did it. So it's tough. I think the better team won tonight. The
That's
Canucks,
fair.
yeah, like the I see a lot of people in the nasty chat saying the Canucks got lucky tonight. I disagree with that. I think the Canucks were the better team. The Oilers' power play was they looked tired. They looked quite fatigued tonight. Yeah, there wasn't a whole lot clicking on that. And yeah, credit to the Canucks. They absolutely brought it tonight. I can't say the same for the Oilers. The Mattias Janmark goal, that was encouraging if you're an Oilers fan. Obviously, you're going to like that. We talk about the depth that or lack thereof, so that's good for him to get off the schneid. But it's just... Again, like we talked about it, not a complete full 60 from the whole team. The forwards from line 1 to 4, you see glimpses of it, but the Canucks they shut them down in a lot of ways tonight, Tommy. And it's going to be crazy to see what the Oilers can do. I thought going into this game was like whoever won tonight would win the series. I find it's going to be very hard for either team, whoever came out of this, to win 2 in a row. Just looking at how the series has gone, it has been, win one and then you lose one. So I think that trend's going to continue. But back to the drawing board, Tommy. It's tough. You can't dwell on it if you're an Oilers fan. If you're the Oilers players, right? It's one loss. They have come back and won, as we have seen. So time will only tell. But yeah, the last minute, that's a killer, Tommy, for sure.
That is a killer. Hey, this is going to test the team's mettle. We know that. We didn't think that this would be an easy. Some people did think it would be an easy series. I didn't buy that for a second. Oilers in 6. That was my prediction. Out the window. Absolutely wrong on that one. But they still have life. They got to play better, like you said, Trev, on Saturday. Simply put, they're going to need their special teams on the power play side. Hard to say that they need the power play to be better, but tonight it was ineffective. The Canucks solved it tonight. Whatever the Oilers didn't do or whatever Vancouver did to force it, Vancouver was good on the PK. Edmonton ineffective on the power play. That needs to change on Saturday. It's going to be balls to the wall, desperation hockey. And you know what? They're going to have to try their best to buck the trend. Not the trend, buck it. So it's not over. Take a deep breath. Have a sip of courage. 6 o'clock or lager. Thank you to everybody here at Hudson's White Avenue and Hudson's Bourbon Street for carrying our lovely products in conjunction with Alley Cat and Strathcona Spirits. But they're not done. They're not done. But we know that they have things that they need to work on. All right, let's get into the game stats and the scoring summary from Game 5, where the Oilers fall late 3-2 to the Vancouver Canucks and now face elimination in the first period. Edmonton off to a really strong start. Evander Kane got things started at 4:34. Nice play from that second line with Draisaitl and Holloway. Nice little cycle down low. And Kane converts his third of the playoffs from Draisaitl, and Vinny Desharnais picking up his first point of the playoffs. The Canucks would answer back at 17-27 to get even at 1. It was Carson Soucy, 1-1 there. But not long after that, 23 seconds later, it would be Mattias Janmark, his first of the postseason, from Connor Brown and Brett Kulak. Nice play by Kulak on the wall to sacrifice and get the puck to Brown. Brown takes it down the ice and finds Mattias Janmark, who buries it past Shelov's. 2-1. Oil after 1 in the second period. Phil DiGiuseppe would equalize it. He scores his first of the playoffs unassisted. The new Papa at 5:14. Bad giveaway by Evan Bouchard right beside Calvin Pickard. You can't make that play. That one we're going to go into, of course. Bouchard has been very good. Very, very good for the Oilers for the majority of the season after the bad start. And then for this postseason, he's been very good. And that was a mistake, and the Canucks absolutely punished the Oilers and Bouchard on that one. In the third period, the Canucks pressing. The Oilers finally start to push back, about 6-7 minutes left. And then eventually one bounce with 33 seconds left on the clock. JT Miller deposits the garbage. The Oilers unable to score garbage goals in this series. JT Miller finds a way Puck gets thrown to the net by Lindholm, and Miller banks it home off of the shot from Lindholm that hit the post, and Miller tucks it in. Pettersson picking up the secondary assist. 3-2 Van. The Oilers couldn't get anything going in the last 33 seconds of the game, and that would be your final. A dagger, heartbreaker. Good teams learn how to regroup. Good teams are tested, and their mettle is tested. This is certainly going to be one of those, and we'll see how the Oilers respond on Saturday in Game 6. Puck drop, 6 p.m. our time for that one. We'll be on the air at 4:30, live on location at Hudson's West Edmonton Mall on Bourbon Street. Let's go into the shots on goal and game stats from tonight. Shots on goal, 35-23 in favor of the Canucks. Edmonton and Vancouver even up at 11-1, and then Vancouver just started to pour it on, 17-4 in the second period, and then closer in the third. The Oilers actually outshoot Vancouver 8-7 in that third period. Not a lot of great chances. Those kind of belong to Vancouver. The better chances, I should call it, not great chances. Edmonton defended all right tonight, but ultimately did not get the result. Shots on goal, 35-23 in favor of the Canucks, as has been the case this entire series. The Canucks winning the face-off battle again, 57.1% to 42.9. Here is a big difference in the game. Not the sole reason why the Oilers lost, but a huge part of why this game went the way it did. Edmonton, 0 for 5 on the power play. Yes, they nullified a couple of power plays by taking penalties. We saw some 4-on-4 action in this one. The PK, to its credit, goes 4 for 4. So after slipping up in games 2 and 3, the penalty kill has shown up in the last 2 games. Unfortunately, tonight, the power play, which was riding super high into this one, first in the postseason, and after finishing top 5 in the regular season, it was unable to convert. And if you're going, how good was the power play for the Oilers going into this one on the postseason? 46.7%, 14 for 30. And tonight, that is going to take a big hit, going 0 for 5. Hits, 42-20 in favor of the Canucks. They brought the physical play, certainly, maybe riding the momentum of the crowd and the energy of the crowd. And they do have some big bodies there, and they wanted to respond to what happened in Game 4 in Edmonton. So they take the hit battle 42-20 officially, according to the off-ice officials. Block shots, both teams with 18, sacrificing the body, getting in lanes, taking away lanes, just getting their shin pads on pucks. You saw a lot of that. A lot of guys blocking shots in their midsections and going off because they were a little bit nicked up from the shot that they took. 18-18 at the end of the night. Giveaways officially 10 for Vancouver, 9 for Edmonton. Takeaways 6 for the Oilers to 3 for the Vancouver Canucks. At the end of the day, the only thing that matters is the score, and it says 3 for Vancouver and 2 for Edmonton, as they now trail, the Oilers do, in this series 3-2. All right, Matt Cassian is ready to go. We're going to bring him on here, our game analyst. Text us 780-218-9999. We're going to get into a bunch of those for sure. And then Nasty Chat, do your thing. We've got some moderators on. I think Matty Owanek and some others are keeping tabs on that if it gets a little bit spicy. All right, Cass, just your initial thoughts from the Oilers' late loss where Vancouver was piling it on in the second and the third. I thought the Oilers had a little bit of a push late in the third. Certainly not enough. Cass, what were you thinking after that one? Unmute, Cass. Classic, Cass.
It is classic. I didn't want to ruin anything. I mean, muted like the Oilers power play today. Woof. That lost them a game, Tom. Your power play, which had been so good, failed to generate any kind of momentum, failed to generate any kind of oomph. And, I mean, if anything, it just gave the Canucks momentum. You didn't generate a lot of high danger scoring chances on your PP. Vancouver came out and they outplayed you. The second period, the third period of the game, they outplayed you. It was not good enough by the Edmonton Oilers. They didn't deserve to win the game, Tom, I don't think, and they didn't.
Yeah. All right, let's start to get into the nitty-gritty of this one. You talk about the power play. What outside of them not scoring, or really generating a ton of momentum or high danger chances. What did Vancouver do to stymie it, or was it Edmonton getting in its own way? How did you see that?
Well, two parts to it. First part was Vancouver did a good job, and you have to give the Vancouver Canucks credit.
Yes.
Vancouver did a good job of applying pressure on the power play, or on the penalty kill when Edmonton was on the power play. They didn't allow Edmonton to just set up and start executing how they like to. The second there was a bobbled puck, the second there was any question of where the puck was going to go with Edmonton, they applied pressure, and it was a full four pressure. It wasn't just one guy going, it was everybody going, and it gave the Edmonton Oilers fits. On Edmonton's side, they didn't execute, because the way you beat pressure is you execute clean. When you have it and someone comes at you, you move the puck quickly and efficiently. You're not looking for the perfect play. And it did feel like Edmonton way too often on their power plays was looking for that perfect play. They were looking for the pretty play. It was, I'm going to hold on to this a second too long and look for that seam pass, and it's not there. And now all of a sudden there's pressure, and I am just going to kind of move it and pass off the problem to someone else. And before you know it, you turn the puck over and it's down back in your own end, and you're skating to regroup and re-entry. Didn't shoot the puck enough on the power play either. I think that's the byproduct of trying to be too fancy and trying to look for too much. But hey, you go 0 for 5 on the power play, it's going to be pretty tough to win. Now, the penalty killers did a good job. Vancouver ends up going 0 for 4 on that end of special teams. But Edmonton is a power play team. And for guys that like feeling into the game and involved in the game when they're executing and playing well in the power play, Edmonton's big guns did not do it. They ultimately let the Oilers down tonight.
780-218-9999. You can text us, and then Nasty Chat. I already looked in there. I'm going to stay out of there for now. I'll double my way back in there in a little bit and see if there's anything good to pluck out of there. I think there's a little bit of a back and forth between some Canucks and Oilers fans, as is tradition now between these two Pacific Division rivals. All right, Cass, Calvin Pickard tonight. Is he your starter in Game 6, or do you go back to Stuart Skinner? Was his body of work good enough? Is there anything he could have done better tonight?
Well, people were getting mad at me because I very sarcastically in the chat made a comment about Stuart Skinner. Pickard played very well tonight. He played well tonight. You can't pin this one on him. He made some good saves. He had a lot of rubber thrown at him, and he was solid.
Yeah.
Elimination game. I think I go back to Skinner, and that's not on Pickard. Skinner was your starting goalie. I think I go back to Stuart Skinner. He was your starting goalie during the year. He was your guy down the stretch. Put him back in. Let him run with it and see what happens. See if he can steal you one.
All right. Could you imagine this story playing out? You take out your starter. You take out a second-year NHLer, a guy who's been an all-star, Calder finalist. Had a really strong season. Was he perfect? No. We know that full well. He gets pulled because he had an awful start to this series numbers-wise. Didn't get help on some nights from the team in front of him. Defensively, you throw him back in. Balls to the wall. Balls backs against the wall is what I want to say. And he gets or helps lead them to a victory, forces a Game 7, and then maybe gets them over the hump. Incredible. That's the stuff that legends are made of. That is something that we've seen in the Stanley Cup playoffs, stories like that.
Yep.
So I'm with you. I think Calvin Pickard filled in admirably. I don't know if any of those goals or anything changes on the goals that the Oilers allowed tonight if Stuart Skinner's in that. There's, a few people here coming by talking, saying, well, if Pickard was in that, this would be like a 5-2 game, 6-2 game in favor of the Canucks. I don't buy that, but I think a motivated Skinner, after Pickard filled in admirably, could help galvanize this team.
Yeah.
The group has to play better as well.
The group has to play better. McDavid and Draisaitl have to be better. Hyman has to be better. Darnell Nurse has to be better. We talked about him before the game. Wasn't fantastic again today. As a whole, the team needs to be better. We still, Tom, and maybe that's just the Vancouver Canucks and that aggressive style that they play. But we still have not seen peak Edmonton in the series, where they have played for a full 60 minutes and played well for a full 60 minutes from top to bottom. You know, you got a little bit more out of the bottom six today, but your top six, it wasn't there.
No, that's a concern, but I think that they generally do respond well, and I think that they will on Saturday. All right, 780-218-9999. It is the Oil Stream postgame show presented by GCL Diesel. Tom Gazzola, Matt Cassian, YouTube Trev with you. I'm live on location at Hudson's White Avenue. People filing out there, not too happy, understandably so. And another tight, exciting one-goal game between the Oilers and the Canucks. We've witnessed 5 of these. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same on Saturday night. Cass, the physicality that Vancouver showed tonight.
Yep.
Was that more them finally wearing down the Oilers, or was that them using the home ice advantage, taking advantage of the crowd, wanting to make up for their loss in Game 4? How do you see that? And can Edmonton respond the same way in Game 6 with all of those things now in their corner?
Well, you hope they can respond with the emotion and with the fans and building off of the energy in the building. You know, they're not going to be a physical Vancouver team. Rick Tocchet asks his team, and they have been playing a certain way all year, and that's how they play. They play physical. They play in your face, and their game plan quite clearly has been, let's try to run these guys, and that sometimes works. It worked. I go back to 2013 when we were a 7th seed playing a 2nd seed Montreal when I was in Ottawa, and that's how we beat them in that series, is we just ran them the whole time. We're like, we're just going to run them, and it worked. It can work sometimes against teams. And can Edmonton respond? Yeah, they can respond. Again, I don't expect them to physically go out there and run teams and be the over-aggressor physically, but they need to be able to respond, and they need to be able to respond by taking the puck to hard areas and making it difficult for Vancouver. And that's something they didn't do a ton of again tonight, Tommy. Like, how often were there scrambles in front of the net? None. How often were there second chances? None. Yes, they get the 2 goals. But neither were like garbage goals. Connor Brown, it was a beautiful pass to Matthias Janmark on that goal.
Yep.
Not as scrappy around the net goal. Evander Kane's goal, not as scrappy around. Now, great job on the cycle. Good 5-on-5 goal. Yes, it was a good goal, but it wasn't. It's scrappy, digging around the net. Someone finds the back door and slams it home. Like that. That wasn't it. And just look at JT Miller's goal. I mean, that's a puck to the net, guy battling in front of the net that finds a puck there. And Edmonton did not do that again tonight. They didn't. They need to find a way. If they want to win and win at home, yes, momentum from the crowd. You have to deal with Vancouver's physicality, and you got to find a way, Tommy, to get the puck to the net.
That's been a theme all series. We talked about it on the pregame show, how tangled up you can get in the Canucks defense. They've protected the net very, very well all series long. No muckers, no greasy goals, because the Oilers have been pushed to the outside, and Vancouver continues to do that very well, keeping the house clean for Arturs Shilovs. I'm going to go into the nasty chat really quickly. It is getting a bit spicy. I can see that the boys are cleaning some of that up. Let us know. 780-218-99 as well if you want to text in. Andy Pandy says Pickard was excellent. Too many passengers. Nurse, CC Fogle, McLeod, Perry. Terrible series. Top line ghost tonight. Vancouver battled harder, are more desperate, have better coaching. We're going to get to that because I'm seeing it pop up. There's a theme there. Margaret says Pickard was awesome. Oilers need to hit more. Good night, peeps. Margaret, thank you. Good night. Be well. We'll see you on Saturday. Okay, let's dip into... Actually, before we dip into the inbox cast, the Bouchard giveaway. You can't do that.
Nope.
And I know there was pressure on him. You can't do that.
No, you can't. It's been a while since he's had one of those, hasn't it? And he's been very good in the playoffs. He's been great in the playoffs. He's been fantastic in the playoffs. That was not so fantastic, Tommy. That was akin to when the Oilers were playing horrible and they were losing. He was doing that all the time. Let's call it start of the year Bouchard. That was start of the year Bouchard.
Yeah.
That was early season Bouchard.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, you're under pressure. The old saying, the old cliche, the old phrase, off the glass and out, or when in doubt, off the glass and out. Like,
Struddy got 14 years in the NHL for that.
It's a cliche for a reason, because it's like, well, yeah, if you're in trouble or if you feel too much pressure, yeah, just go off the glass and out. If it turns into an icing, it turns into an icing. Okay, you can deal with it. But you're under pressure and you're taking the puck to the front of your net. Not the time to mess around with it. No. Bad timing on that, and that does change the game. Not that Edmonton, Vancouver was pressing at that point already and playing, I think, outplaying Edmonton at that point already. But yeah, it was a little bit of a dagger. You have a lead still in the driver's seat, as it were, and you give up a goal, not because Vancouver did anything absolutely amazing, but because you turned the puck over right in front of your own net. And that's, if we look at two of the Oilers' losses so far in two of the games, it has been their own mistakes that have done it. And tonight, that wasn't the one that lost them the game. It just made it tied. But that one bites. That one stings. That was bad.
Hey, that one's deflating, man. It's that one kills the momentum for sure. And I know Vancouver was starting to press and they were hungry and all that stuff, but Edmonton had a lead, quote unquote, in control. But you let something like that happen. And good on Vancouver for pressing Bouchard, because they forced that turnover, but that was the wrong decision at an absolutely terrible time for Evan Bouchard. And you're right, he's been good generally for the majority of the season, majority of this postseason, but that was a terrible, terrible brain fart. All right, let's go into the inbox. 780-218-9999. We're going to start with EA. He says, thanks to Bouchard, the Oilers have lost this series, an absolute total and brutal liability. This series is over Saturday, another failure of a season. And then EA adds, Noblock completely outclassed this series, an utter failure of a season. I can't believe how many people picked Edmonton. EA is off the bandwagon, I think is fair to say. I'm going to read a couple more casts before we start reacting. Let's go to this one from number 36. Says, sorry, group. Cool. How do you explain the players on the ice for that last minute? It wasn't tight or exciting. It was a joke of a call by the coach. Flat out better by Rick Tocchet. Let's go to Jeff. Jeff says, as a hardcore Oilers fan, it is painfully clear to me that the Canucks are far and away the better offensive team. For most of the series, the Canucks have had more sustained possession time hits, and tonight it was an absolute shooting gallery in the Oilers' end. The score of 3-2 flatters the Oilers in both the game and the series. Oh, and one more little ditty to think about. With Pickard being the only reason this game was not 6-2, who do they now start on Saturday? All right, we had a cluster of texts there. We're going to kind of do that, Cass. Do you want to start with EA, who says this series is over, and talked about Noblock being a part of the issue? Because I've seen that in the nasty chat as well.
Well, he's made some bold decisions so far in the series from a lineup standpoint, adjusting the lines, Calvin Pickard going into net. So has he been that outclassed, or have the Oilers just been outplayed? I've liked systematically some of the things that they did when they were playing well in terms of being aggressive, moving the puck up ice, getting going north quickly. Transitioning quickly. When they were able to do that, they did end up with zone time. To tag into another one there, Vancouver has had better zone time. They've been the better team. The series isn't over. No. It's 3-2. Now it's potentially over. It's over if they lose another game this series. They got to win 2 in a row. But I'm not jumping off the bandwagon to say that it's done. They certainly are in a tough position here.
Sure.
And they've done it to themselves. I'm just kind of chewing on that the Noblock comment, because I don't know if it's been him being that dramatically outcoached. I feel that Vancouver has just outplayed Edmonton. They have played better. They have executed their game plan better. They're not all their star players. Pettersson still hasn't done much, but JT Miller in particular, he has been the best player in the series.
Yeah.
JT Miller has outplayed Leon Draisaitl, and he has outplayed Connor McDavid this series so far.
JT Miller's a hell of a hockey player. And I knew, and I said it going into the series, you're going to have to watch out for him. Dakota Joshua has faded, but Miller continues to be an absolute dog. Dog, Cass. And they're going to have to find a way to contain him in game number 6. And then if they do win game number 6, they're going to have to find a way to do it again in game number 7. All right, another cluster of texts. Let's go. 780-218-9999. Let's go to Jeff. Oh, no, we already went to Jeff. Jay in the park now. What an absolute cowardly performance. Horrendous effort from everyone not named Calvin Pickard. I honestly don't understand the line deployment tonight at all. Why is McLeod out there with the game on the line? I don't have a lot of faith in next game after that show. 0 for 5 on the power play, 2 for 3, 2 of 3 goals. You have full puck control. Absolutely blow it. Dog, Tommy, dog. That's from Jay in the park. Thank you for the text. I like using that button. Let's go to C-Mac. C-Mac says, what was that garbage? That second period killed them. C-Mac, they got owned in the second period. Absolutely. C-Mac adds, barely any shots from the top power play unit. Yep, we talked about that. C effort for big chunks of that game. Man, I am frustrated. Best players need to be your best players to win in the playoffs. C-Mac, that did not happen for the Oilers tonight. It did happen for the Canucks. They came up clutch in Game 5. All right, Mike in Thunder Bay says, I don't think the Oilers were very good tonight. I was hoping they would have learned to have that killer instinct by now. Really disappointing loss. It's going to be really difficult to win 2 in a row. That's from Mike in Thunder Bay. I'm not going to disagree with that at all. It's not impossible. And I think, hey, wait for Game 6. Look at Game 6 first before we even consider 2 in a row or a potential Game 7. Focus on Game 6. They've done this before.
Yep.
They should be able to bounce back. They generally do. Their body of work indicates that they can and will. Give them a chance. It doesn't mean that you have to be in. It doesn't mean you have to think it's going to happen, but it could happen because they've done it. If you don't expect it, that's fine. It's part of being a fan. There's peaks and valleys today. They are certainly in a valley, the fans are. And I understand the rationale from those who think that this is over. But the truth of the matter is, Cass, it isn't.
No, it's not. It's not over yet. As to some of the comments from the text, yeah, second period, they got crushed. They got crushed. Vancouver pushed and Edmonton just sagged.
Yeah.
I think that's a good word for it. They sagged. They sagged and they didn't have a response. Edmonton's top guys didn't have a response. The comment on McLeod being on at the end of the game, I think with Adam Henrique being out, you don't have a million options. You can't play McDavid and Draisaitl 80 minutes a night. And on top of that,
they've tried that.
They've tried that. And on top of that, it's like, well, you have to trust your other players that are out there.
Yeah,
you have to. Now they had full puck control in that one. Agree with that comment. Yep. And they turned the puck over in the neutral zone. Agree with that one as well. Absolutely. Then you had players get beat back to the front of their net. JT Miller beat you to the front of the net. He outworked you to get there. You didn't get there. So I don't know if we want to pin it all on McLeod. Now, McLeod's been an issue, I think, in that he hasn't done much this series. He's been pretty unnoticeable.
Yeah. It has not made a dent in a positive way.
No.
Absolutely.
No.
And that's putting it nicely.
Yeah. Yeah, hasn't. So, yeah, I guess there was a lot in those texts that I agreed with. Tommy?
It means they're good texts, Cass.
Yeah, they're good texts. Thanks. Send more in. Bring them.
All right, I've got a bunch more to get to. Let's go to Mike from Calgary. He says, good Lord. Brutal game. Mike from Calgary, short and sweet on that one. This one says, time to slap missing person's picture on the side of a milk jug with McDavid on. Whoa. Come on. This is it's an Edmonton phone number, but a lot of pro Vancouver texts in their history. Yeah. Tay getting in here. Tay says something needs to be done with Bouchard. That was absolutely ridiculous. He was a big reason why the Oilers lost this game. Tay, we talked about that giveaway. Can't have that. You need him to be reliable for the majority of this series, the majority of these playoffs, the majority of the season, quite frankly, after a terrible first 5 weeks. He has been, and then he has an absolute brain fart. I know the Canucks put pressure on him, but yeah, we're not letting him off the hook for that one. He knows it.
Yeah.
The only thing now, Cass, is he has to be excellent in Game 6, and he saved this team's bacon with a couple of big game-winning goals in this series too.
Yep. Yeah. He's not. I think someone even said in the nasty chat at some point with the 8 million messages that are flying through there. He didn't go from here last game, and he's not the GOAT this one. He's not the reason that they lost.
No.
It was still a tie game with a lot of game left to go at that point, but that was a bad play, and it was a costly play. So he's not the GOAT. He's been one of their best defensemen. Him and Ekholm have been their two best defensemen. He's had a really good series. Yep. He had a really good series last series. His playoffs has been fantastic, but that was a bad play, and it hurt them.
Simply put.
Yep.
780-218-9999. Tom Gazzola, Matt Cassian with you. YouTube, Trev holding things down back at ESTHQ. I'm live on location, Hudson's White Avenue. Good crowd here tonight. Eager, excited crowd, deflated when all was said and done after that puck went in with 33 seconds left off the stick of JT Miller. Let's go to more text here. Let's go to this one from BC Trav, who just says, worst game I've ever seen them play. BC Trav, I've seen them play far worse games.
Yep.
Even though tonight was not good. They have played way games than that, and I can tell you about a lot of them. I had a front row seat, but in the moment, not good enough. 100%. Let's go to Shaggy from St. Albert. Shaggy usually tells it as it is, says, Oilers deserved that loss. Did not show up after the first period. Pickard was the only reason they were still in the game. No desperation, no urgency at all in this game. McDavid has been mid in this series. The best player in the game should at least dominate in one of these games. He was a negative tonight. Lost his player on the game-winning goal.
Yep.
After every Oilers win. They get complacent, try to coast to win the next game. Game 6, put up or shut up. And if they make it to 7, put up or shut up. Shaggy and St. Albert. The part about McDavid being mid in this series, Cass, how would you assess his body of work in this second round series against the Canucks, Connor McDavid's?
Yep. Well, I already kind of mentioned it, and it was mentioned in that message, got beat back to the net by JT Miller on that goal. JT Miller's been better this series. I wouldn't necessarily say Connor McDavid's been mid, but
he had a 4-point night in game 2.
Yeah, but JT Miller overall, if we look at the series
Miller's
as a whole,
been excellent.
Yep, he's been better.
Yeah,
he's been better.
Agreed. All right, this one I'm curious to know your thoughts on, Cass. Cam says, will Noblock call out his team? Nothing to lose now.
No. Wait, what's he going to... What's he going to walk up to the mic and be like, yeah, my team sucks and I don't believe in them? And I mean, what are you going to say? What is calling out the team in the media or publicly going to do heading into a do or die game 6?
Sewer himself with the team going
with
forward.
The group.
That's what'll happen.
Yeah, no, not going to happen. Yeah. Not going to happen. You're not going to do that in the playoffs. No.
All right, I'm going to go to this one from JD. Says, Tommy and Cass, where is the Oilers' intensity all series? It really looks like the Oilers won their quote-unquote cup when they beat LA again. Canucks are running their show big time. This team can't get out of its own way when it matters most. Has anyone seen Corey Perry this playoffs? Had high hopes when he joined, but right now he might be someone you scratch. Maybe a silver lining of all of this, no matter who wins the series, is going to get railroaded by either the Stars or the Avs. I think we're jumping the gun here, JD, on looking ahead to the next series. Who knows what's going to happen in that one? Corey Perry has had a couple of moments, but overall in the postseason, I would say this, Cass, he hasn't had like that impact in that one goal or that one play that kind of helps turn the tide in the team's favor. He hasn't really had that. And he's sort of done that. That's become his MO in the latter stages of his career, I feel like. And then the intensity of the Oilers in this series, what JD's asking about, and them winning their quote-unquote cup, beating the Kings. What would you tell JD?
Yeah, well, JD, I don't know that they view it as, they won their cup by beating the Kings. I mean, this team knew that. The intensity, Vancouver has been more intense. They have brought it more. Yep, they have brought it more. They have wanted it more thus far in the series. Still time. There's still time. Not done yet. Corey Perry, he hasn't been noticeable, Tom. Well, I mean, kind of the same vein as Ryan McLeod for the series so far, where he has not done much this series. And I don't know if that's the pace. I don't know if that's the intensity. I don't know what it is, but he has not found a way to be an impactor, to be a big factor. He is not so far.
He had that one wraparound where he made a nice play. That was the only time I really noticed him for a positive in this game tonight. All right, Cass, we do have a couple of clips from the locker room following the team's loss. Do you want to hear them first before ducking out? All right, let's go to the captain, Connor McDavid, first.
Yeah, I thought weird one. I thought weird whatever was going on at the bench over there, and then they end up with it with a little bit of time, and we're just trying to hold the middle, and they get they get a bounce. They probably deserved a bounce tonight. I thought they were the better team, and they get a bounce at the end of the game, and that's the way it goes.
It just seemed like your energy levels weren't there today as a whole. How did you kind of feel about that?
I thought we got off to a great start. I didn't think we capitalized good enough in the first period. I thought we were real good in the first period. Generating chances, generating power plays, and we didn't do enough capitalizing early.
Probably the longest period of sustained Canucks possession and holding the game in the series tonight. You couldn't get it back from the second period. What do you think? What changes? How's that happen, do you think?
I thought they played well. I thought they had a lot of jump. After the first period, I thought, like you said, I thought they were the better team the last 40 minutes, and as you said, we couldn't find a way to generate much, even on the power play.
Yeah, you mentioned the power plays. What do you think was kind of missing?
Yeah, just not executing. Yeah.
Headed each game, there doesn't seem to be any momentum between games. And each is its own game. What's your approach going into Game 6 at home?
Trying to win a hockey game. Trying to win a game.
You guys were in a situation last year, I guess, where you can take anything from that same situation, you going in back home for Game 6.
Sure. We didn't win last year's Game 6, and we'll learn from that. I guess. I don't know. We've got to be ready to go. That's what it is.
Part of this is shaking off losses when they come. Is that a little easier early in a series? Like, is this one sting a little because it's deeper here?
We're good at bouncing back. We've always said that. We've always been confident in that, and I would expect the same.
What do you think of your bottom six tonight? Seemed to really kind of give you.
I thought they were excellent. They had lots of jump. They created and yeah.
Right, there's Connor McDavid speaking to the media. Cass, your impressions of McDavid and what he had to say following that game. Dejection was something that stood out in my mind right away. Would you go as so far as to say even a little bit defeated? I don't want to, but how are you reading that?
We'll see Game 6, Tom. We'll see Game 6. Definitely disappointed and dejected after that one. Pretty clear in saying that he thought Vancouver was a better team, and they were. They were the better team tonight, and they deserve to win. They deserve that bounce. They worked for it. Yep, they worked for it.
Anything else stand out to you about what McDavid said? I mean, obviously, when you're asked about Game 6, the goal is to win. But I don't know. Like, I don't know if he could have come up with something that would change anything or I think they're feeling the pain of this one. Mm-hmm. I feel like a good night's rest, probably in their own bed, or unless they're staying overnight, but it'll change the mindset. And you've been through playoff series. You've lost playoff series in the NHL. You've won playoff series in the NHL. How do you shake off the loss and the pain that is inflicted upon the team when you lose a tough one like that?
Yeah. Well, it's a mental challenge. You have to take a deep breath, reset, and refocus. I mean, it's get home, get some sleep, or sleep tonight if you're staying in Vancouver, then get home the next day. reset and refocus. And refocus. You have to. I mean, it's mentally you have to get to it.
Yeah.
You got to reset. Got to reset.
Simple as that. The Oilers, by the way, according to Oilers PR, they sent the note, will be staying the night in Vancouver, so no need to rush back to Edmonton and all that. They'll get a full night's rest, and they'll fly back to Edmonton, practice Saturday. Actually, Cass, yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say this in the nasty chat from Morning Bacon, which I thought is a good description. 97 looks like my buddy Joel, who can't get a girlfriend right now.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. Sorry, Joel. Sorry to hear that, Joel.
Joel, I hope best of luck.
Yeah, best of luck, Joel. Morning Bacon.
Yeah.
Pretty spot on with that description. Yeah.
All right. Let's go to Zach Hyman, Cass.
We got it out of our zone. We got in the usual zone. They quick up, and I don't know how the puck. I mean, I think it hit the post. It was a play from the wall to the post, and then I think Miller was coming off the bench, came right backside, and got it.
You guys had a good first period, but they took the rest of that game away from you pretty good. How come? What do you think happened?
I thought we fought back in the third. I thought the second period they played better. They played faster than we did. We weren't. I think we play best when we're skating. We're getting the puck behind them and taking control of the pace. But obviously that wasn't the case in the second. I thought we started to find our game in the third there. Obviously they got the late one there.
Zach, what do you make of the opportunities you had on the power play? Obviously not as effective tonight as you would have liked.
Yeah, obviously the power play has been really good. The whole entire playoffs today was definitely a night where we would like to have had one to help the team win, especially with the chances we had.
Was it maybe not as aggressive on the retrievals, or like what do you think was?
I mean, you're not going to be perfect, right? I think we did some good things out there. We weren't good enough, obviously. We didn't generate as much as we usually do on the power play, so. Yeah.
As top guys, you guys have played a lot in the series. You think tonight was maybe it kind of catching up a little bit in terms of energy?
I mean, this is what you play for the entire year. This is what you train for in the summertime to be able to handle, these minutes, and we're fine. I think we just have to, go back, go home, win a game, and then go from there.
Your bottom six seemed to give you some stuff tonight. What do you think of their performance?
Great. I mean, huge goal there by Yanni, great play by Brownie. I thought they were all around it, and I think we could be better.
Okay, there's Zach Hyman.
Nope, no, not really that surprising. Yes, Zach, you can be better. The team can be better. It is possible, and you need to be for Game 6, or you're going home, or you're done. So,
simple as that.
Simple as that.
Simple
Gotta win
as
a
that.
game. Yep.
All right, Cass. Do you want to stick around for Knoblock?
I'll stick for Knoblock. I've stayed this long. I'm not going to bed, so
all right.
Let's run it.
You're fired up. All right, we're gonna run it right now. Let's hear from head coach Chris Noblock.
Sorry, can you just take us through what you saw in the game-winning goal there, and where the breakdown might have been?
They just got the puck behind us, and we had a little confusion on the responsibilities. And, they just slung in the puck to the net, hit the post, and bounced right to Miller. But, unfortunate time. 55 seconds left. We had Nova's own face-off, and we end up losing the game.
The flow of play in the second period was, they took it obviously pretty significantly. What do you think changed with, what they were doing, or maybe what you weren't doing?
Yeah, they were just pressuring, and then the second period, unless you get in a rhythm and a flow, you've got the long change, and you just get stuck out there a little bit longer, and they were just out changing, out hustling us, and I think that's, and also we're just being cautious of just flipping the puck out. And we get it out of the neutral zone and get it out of harm's way, but we can't get it down there 200 feet, so we can be in the offensive zone. We can get fresh bodies out there, and I think that was just we didn't have the flow there.
Chris over here. You guys were up 2-1. I mean, were you surprised you guys couldn't find a third goal? You couldn't find more energy out of that lead?
Well, I thought we had a lot of opportunities in the first period to put the game away, whether it was on the power play or chances 5-on-5, and we just couldn't get additional goal, give us a really opportunity to put them away, let them hang around, and then it was just it was difficult. They checked us well, and I don't think there was many chances both ways, but we didn't play nearly as sharp as we were in the first period.
We're not used to seeing your power play not get any results. What was the key to Canucks' penalty kill, or were you guys just not executing?
Well, I think it was a lot of the way we played as the game went on. I think we just slowed our game too much, and they were pressuring, and we weren't executing quick enough. In the first period, I think we had excellent opportunities to score, and we just couldn't put the puck in the net. But I thought early on in our power play was really good, and then as the game went on, I think we just got a little less sharp, and we weren't executing. It was a lot of similar to our 5-on-5 play.
Chris, did you feel like you had trouble matching the energy levels, especially in that second period and maybe in the third? Like you were talking about, you guys were just chipping the puck out and they were coming back at you type thing.
Yeah, when you're always defending, it's taxing, it's tiring, it's so much easier to be on the attack, making them defend. It's fun being on the offensive zone on the cycle and zipping the puck around in the offensive zone. We didn't have enough of that, and we just continually. And when I say give away the puck, we didn't make turnovers, what cost us. It was just we were just making the safe play all the time, and as a result, just always having to defend.
They seem to get some juice from some new bodies in the lineup who haven't played much in this series. Is that something you could possibly look at as maybe it looked like some of your guys or your team looked a little tired at times? Is that something you could see?
Yeah, well, that's obviously we'll look at our options. We have good players not playing, and we can definitely insert some new life, some new legs.
Chris, back here. Your top guys played a lot early in the series, especially games 2 and 3. Do you think tonight was maybe a case of that catching up to them a little bit?
I think they can handle the high minutes, and we're not practicing in between games. I think they recover. We get all the information from our sports scientists who give us that, and in the past, throughout the regular season, he's always cautious about these guys being a little tired and worn down, and we never got any of that information. So,
what did you think of your bottom six tonight?
I thought they played really well, especially the Derek Ryan line. In the first period, the goal that they made, Brown, beautiful pass, Janmark, and Brown had that excellent chance of set up IDR, and that fourth line was good. And then the other guys, I think when we rearranged them, kind of looked, they had a lot better shifts. So, that's something we'll be looking at next game and possibly moving around our lines a little bit.
Your team's been chasing this series a little bit, right? Down 1-0, down 2-1, now down 3-2. Is that, I don't know, is it uncharacteristic? Is it something that, what do you think the reason would be for the fact you can't get on top of these guys?
You look at every game a little bit different. There's games in this series that I felt that we should have won, and not coming up with a win. And that happens. That's hockey, and we're playing a good team. So let's not take for granted that we should be up in this series and it's going to be easy. We're down 3-2. Could easily be up, but we're in our situation now.
Take us to.
All right, that was Oilers head coach Chris Noblock. Cass, I know he doesn't get fired up or anything like that in any press conference. A couple of things I jotted down to quote him, and I want to know what you think these things mean, because one part of his post games and his pre games is you can kind of read into some of the tidbits he does kind of drop. He said that the team slowed down its game too much.
Yep.
Outside of like the literal playing slower, what else is he getting at? Because I think you can articulate that, and that can kind of give us a better idea of what he meant.
Well, he said a few things that fit into that, and it ties into what we talked about earlier, in that they were sagging. They sagged, like it was. And the no flow comment, I think, is a very telling comment, where it was like, yeah, they chipped the puck out, and it wasn't like they were necessarily giving up a grade A chance against. But then Vancouver was just right back in the zone, and especially in that second period, like they were just on their heels the whole time.
Yeah,
they weren't playing the game moving forward; they were playing it backing up and trying to deal with Vancouver's pressure. And yes, at times you need to flip the puck out, a la Bouchard making the mistake, and with the puck ending up in the back of their net. But all too often, it wasn't clean out of the zone. It wasn't skating with puck possession. It was just flip the puck out and hope something happens, or so something doesn't happen. Yeah, I mean, the no flow to me, I mean, that's the comment. They had no flow. And they had some opportunities in that first period. They really did. You had power play opportunities, whether they were good calls or not good calls by the officials. Edmonton had some power plays, and they didn't put the puck in the back of the net. And as he said, the power play got worse as the night went on.
Yep.
They just, like the rest of the team, got worse as the night went on. They were not sharp. They were not sharp. They did not execute.
Another thing that he discussed or kind of hinted at was lineup changes. The first guy I thought of, because he talked about fresh legs, but you want this team to rise to the occasion, be in the moment. They need something to galvanize them. The first name I thought of was Sam Gagner. Listen, we know
a way to
he's
bring the crowd into it.
Yeah, we know he's probably done in the NHL. It's been a great run. He has a future in management or coaching or player development, likely with the Oilers organization. They've already offered him a position. We saw him with Stu Skinner the other day going into Game 4. That's the first guy that came to mind. And he said, we have NHLers, good players sitting out. What do you think about fresh legs coming in, doing something?
I mean, would you do a Corey Perry, Sam Gagner swap?
I'd do that. I'd do Connor Brown.
That Brown line was okay today, though.
I know, and Brown made a nice play.
Right.
Yeah.
That Brown line was all right. At least they had some opportunity tonight. Yeah. You maybe you do that. Maybe you do that. I mean, it would be great if Henrique was ready to go. I don't think that's going to be the case.
No, I know. He skated today, but
yeah, don't think he's ready.
Immediately, I thought of Sam Gagner.
Yep.
We talk about
it'd be an emotional boost.
That's what I meant.
It's for him, for the crowd, like it would be an emotional boost. So maybe you look to it. Yeah.
I like that idea. The only thing you got to lose is the rest of the season. But this is a guy that anytime you put him in, he would take whatever minutes you would throw at him and he would use them.
Yeah.
And they love him. They call him Papa Oiler for a reason. The fans love him. The media respects the hell out of him. If you need something, I think that would be a good one to toss in there. That's what I'm just thinking right now. Okay, Cass. Do you want to say anything about Darren Dutchyshen, because that's a tough one for the Canadian media landscape, especially here in Edmonton. I know you and I are roughly the same age, and you probably have some memories. Pops, old chappy Brent probably has some memories, and if you want to say a few words about someone who we lost in Darren Dutchyshen today that has deep ties to the Edmonton area.
Yeah. I mean, Dutchy was a legend here. I mean, I remember watching sports with him on ITV back growing up. I mean, we didn't have Twitter for all the young people watching. Didn't have Instagram or Facebook. I mean, we got our sports highlights by watching the news, and I loved watching Dutchy. He was great for a long time for Edmonton sports. Loved watching me at TSN. I've had the pleasure of knowing him for quite some time now. Being around and just absolutely respected him. I mean, he was always a guy who was I would say, at least in my interactions with him, was always smiling, was always laughing, was always upbeat and positive and encouraging, and I would say life bringing. So it's it's a sad day. I know my dad was feeling a little bit today when we were chatting about it. So it's we lost a good one, Tommy. We lost a good one. Been a tough run in the last year and a bit. From a sports media world, with losing people, and Dutchy's on there. I mean, he was a pleasure and a joy to watch.
Well said, Cass. Final thoughts going into Game 6. Could be, not saying it will be, could be Edmonton's last game of the season.
Yeah, could be. Could be. I mean, it all depends on what type of game Edmonton brings. Are they going to bring a push? Are they going to bring that energy? Are they going to bring that flow that Noblock talked about wanting, or then not having tonight to the game? And are they going to be able to deal with the pressure that Vancouver's going to throw everything at you to try to close this thing out? So can you deal with that, and can you bring it yourself? And it's on them. I don't think it's on coaching. Now, some decisions may help or hurt. We'll have to see what Noblock does, but at the end of the day, it's going to be on those guys in the room to rise to the occasion and to win a hockey game, and then to go to Vancouver and win one more. But got to win the first one here.
One at a time, Cass. They still have hope, bringing it home for Game 6, looking to stay alive. Fantastic work as always, my friend. Get some rest. I will talk to you on Saturday.
Absolutely, buddy. Sounds good.
There's Matt Cassian, our game analyst, bringing it, as always, here on the GCL Diesel pre- and post-game show. I will add portions of this hour brought to you by Edmonton's Best Rock, 100.3 The Bear. Catch Dusty Nielsen every weekday morning with Yukon and McCord, and then tune into Jess Jackson on your drive home from work every single day. Love to partner up with them. That has been absolutely tremendous. And it feels like home because we spent so many years admiring them, working with them, and to have them on board with us, partnering up again at EST. Absolutely fantastic. Also, I will add, you can text us, 780-218-9999. We are going to get to a bunch of texts, and GCL Diesel is the presenting sponsor of the post-game show and pre-game show. Proud suppliers of genuine OE products from manufacturers like Bosch, Denso, Garrett, Borg Warner, and Wholeset. GCLDiesel.com. Great to have them on board with us. All right, let's get YouTube Trev in here. YouTube Trev, how you holding up, pal?
Yeah.
You doing good?
Yeah, we're doing good, Tommy. We're doing good.
You're doing good? All right,
No
we're doing good.
here.
You seeing any texts you want to talk? You want to talk about some texts that we've gotten, or do you have anything to add after you've heard all of this?
Yeah, it's been, you guys pretty well covered it all. I will say the nasty chat has been buzzing. I have had to chime in and do some moderation, some monitoring, because it was, it was getting a little hot in the nasty chat. So just a reminder to let's keep it. It's okay to argue. That's point. That's discussion's good. But when you're being a dink, we have no problem kicking you out. So let's keep it civil. To Canucks fans, Oilers fans, both of you. I just wanted to say that quickly. And also, if you
don't be a dink.
Yeah, exactly. And also, if you are a Canucks fan, you liking what you're seeing, feel free to like and subscribe. We appreciate the support. No, I mean, you guys pretty well covered it all, Tommy. Just, it's going to be, I'm fascinated to see what's going to happen in Game 6 here. The Canucks absolutely brought it tonight. Just looking up and down
they did.
the lineup. I want to give some props to Calvin Pickard. We will get into the save of the game pretty soon here, but I thought he was fine. I thought he did his job every time he's been called upon. He's done his job. I think maybe one game in the season I was like, not the best, but no, it was solid. As far as the Gagne thing, I would love to see Gagne get, like, why not? When he
just do it.
Yeah, for sure. When he was brought up for his first game of the season this year, he got not one, but he got 2 goals against the Dallas Stars in his first game. He's kind of like a vintage. He's not old Gagne like we grew up loving, but he does it. He sticks to the fundamentals, right? Puck on the net kind of thing. So I'd certainly like to see Sam Gagne get in the lineup. And then as far as the McDavid hate. He didn't show up this one game, but he's still second in the playoffs in scoring. So you can't really say that he hasn't shown up the whole playoffs. Yeah, it was a bad game. It's tough to be crazy consistent, especially in the playoffs. So I think that's all I got, Tommy. But it was a good post-game show. I loved it. Just listening to you guys, listening to what Cass has to say. Always, he breaks it down so good. So, if there are any new viewers out there, I certainly hope you enjoyed it just as much as I did.
Hey, we're not done just yet. We have some business to get to. I want to get to some text too. Brock B says, Tommy, for the first time in a long time in the playoffs, I think we have to point fingers at the top six. I didn't notice 97 or 29 after the first period. Did not deserve to win. This team just doesn't have an it factor. I said all of this to you during the early season skid. I want to be proven wrong, but when push comes to shove, it just isn't enough. I hope I'm wrong too early, but the cup or bust mentality doesn't seem to be translating to the playoffs. And then Brock adds, not enough difference makers on this team. Passengers everywhere. As a guy who watched the 06 team, I can't help but feel like this squad is just missing something. There just isn't any quote-unquote magic. I wish I could describe it better. Brock from downtown. Well said, though. Well said. I understand what you're saying about that. Sean Z texts in and says, this series is like visiting Vancouver. 1 minute you're in Gastown and it's awesome. And then the next minute you're on Hastings scrambling to get out of there. Oilers in 7. Book it from Sean Z. Another text coming in from iMac. iMac with a bunch tonight. Jeez, where do you want me to go, iMac? I'll go to your last couple here. This is the reality, says iMac. They lose the series, and the storyline, as usual, will be their Harlem Globetrotters obsession. They actually have themselves convinced that they can out-talent teams. The playoffs are a different animal. Stress, animal. Coaching has to take a different direction. No sissies. Goodbye to Noblock from iMac. And iMac adds, can someone tell Noblock how pissed off season ticket holders will be next year? Mark my words, this overcharged fan base will be extremely loud. Can we get Berube? Says iMac. All right, iMac. He is throwing it out there, feeling it. Man, I was not going to swear, but I was just like, oh, wow. iMac. Deep breaths. Serenity now. Serenity now. Okay, let's go into the Christopher Boyle big save of the game. Thank you to Christopher Boyle for hopping on board with this show as well. Business owner, tax saver, take care of your family with Christopher Boyle, an experienced advisor over 17 years in the business. Safeguard yourself and your family with comprehensive coverage for tax-free benefits during hospitalization, or if you're dealing with a fracture or broken bone. You'll get benefits paid from day one of the incident, so you don't have to worry about the cost and loss of income due to hospitalization. Preserve your income and protect your paycheck by visiting www.christopherboyle.net. YouTube Trev, our Christopher Boyle big save of the game is...
Yeah, tonight's save of the game came 7 minutes into the second period. It was a cross-crease save on Tyler Myers. Honorable mention, there was a save that Pickard made in the second period as well. It was a breakaway, and he made it look pretty steady. Like he's just pretty confident in that. Pretty calm and composed is what I'm getting from Pickard. But, Tyler Myers, I'm giving it to the save that he made on Tyler Myers. Tyler Myers is one of the biggest players in the league. He can absolutely rip the puck. And I have written down right here as well, he was calm, cool, and collected on the save. It was a huge save, and at that point, I think the Oilers were up, or they were actually. I'm drawing a blank on.
I think they were up. I think they were up when he made that save.
So it was a huge save. Kept a minute, obviously. Didn't really matter. The Oilers lost the game, but it was a really big save. It was a good save against a guy that can absolutely rip the puck.
Nicely done. That is the big save of the game, brought to you by Christopher Boyle. All right, couple more texts, and then we got to get to the player of the game. Peter says, fourth line was the best line tonight. We are lucky it was tied for that long. Pathetic effort from the entire team except for Pickard. On another note, JT Miller has been so good. I hate him out of pure jealousy. Yes, JT Miller, excellent player. This one says, if Bouchard was a big issue tonight, what goes through his mind in reflection and prep for the next game? Sometimes it appears that the quote-unquote shake it off vibe is too easy. And then the same texter adds, is there something to be said for the change in the mental game with the lead? The boys seem to be having that issue. Obviously, shoo the broom. That's from Joshua, the broom. So schwa the broom. Sask Bill says, very tough loss. Can't simplify and just say they need to hit more. It's deeper than that. The Vancouver D is so hard to penetrate. It wasn't that the Oilers were lazy, but Vancouver worked so damn hard. JT Miller is a beast. All that being said, the main reason for the lost power play failure. Backs against the wall now. I say the Oilers still win this series. 306 Bill out of Sask. To Lloyd we go. Alberta side or Sask side? Adam for Lloyd says, hey, boys, tough loss. The team looked exhausted after the first. Totally outclassed by the Canucks tonight. If the Oilers lose this series, I blame management for the ads they made this year. Look how much the Canucks ads are contributing to the team's success. Meanwhile, Corey Perry isn't scoring on one wraparound attempt at 5 games. Noblock can only work with what he's got. Big fail with the ads. Another thing, when does this team's playoff experience start to show? Adam from Lloyd, one of the big ads is Adam Henrique, and management's not at fault for him being injured right now. Carrick was a surprise addition in that trade, and he's been held out by the coaching staff. Corey Perry, yes, we've been waiting for him to make something happen in this series. We did note the wraparound tonight, but yeah, he needs to bring more for sure. All right, let's get to the next order of business, and that is the Damon Bunting RE/MAX Elite Player of the Game. Damon Bunting, consistent, top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and among Western Canadian RE/MAX realtors. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. Once again, YouTube Trev, take it away, my friend.
Well, thank you for that, Tommy. It's no surprise here for tonight. JT Miller is getting your Damon Bunting Player of the Game. He was all over the ice, defensively, offensively. It's crazy. What a good story it is for him, because this is his 5th year now coming into the Canucks organization. And when he was playing, when he was part of the Tampa Bay Lightning, just looking at it, 75 games played in his last year with the Tampa Bay Lightning, 47 points. So it's a pretty solid player, but I know Tampa is for sure mad that they let a player like him go, because this year, 103 points, 81 games played. You look back 2 years ago, he was on the cusp of being a 100-point player that season as well with 99 points. So he's an absolute stud, and I had no idea. Like, just watching him a lot more this year, just because you see the numbers, you're like, okay, this JT Miller guy, it's not a fluke. Like, this guy's bringing it year in and year out. But in the playoffs, he's brought it. Regular season, he brought it. Tonight, he brought it. And that's part of the reason why he is your Damon Bunting Player of the Game. So, Canucks fans, you best be happy to have a player like him on your team. It would be interesting to see the discussion between making Quinn Hughes your captain or JT Miller, because I think you could have an argument for both those guys being your captain, and maybe even more so JT Miller in the playoffs. Like, it's just insane to watch him. It really is. So yeah, 1 goal, 1 point tonight, +1. He was all over it. Damon Bunting Player of the Game.
Good choice, Trev. The right choice in this Game 5. The Oilers fall 3-2. You're watching and listening to the Oil Stream post-game show presented by GCL Diesel. A few more texts to get to. Then I want to share one Darren Dutchyshen story. I'm watching TSN now, and then they're talking about him. Now I'm getting sad about this, even more so than I was when I found out the news. My dad texted me this morning, and I was like, oh, man. And just absolutely terrible. But I want to get to some text first, and then I want to share a story, and then we're going to say goodnight to everyone. Let's go to AD. AD says, why do the Oilers play so cute? It's playoff hockey. They've been good in the playoffs consistently, and I think you can pass the puck into the net. Look at all the Canucks goals. AD, I can't disagree with what you said, and yes, they get too cute. That is their nature. It is frustrating. If you're a fan of the team, it's frustrating when you know the potential of a team like the Oilers and what they can do. And certainly it's frustrating if you appreciate ugly goals, greasy goals, garbage goals, mucker goals like I do. And they just have not been able to make that happen against Vancouver and their large defensemen. It's super frustrating. I understand, AD. To RBM we go. RBM says, and another thing. Oh, let's go back to this one. I'm tuning in tonight. Just can't listen to troll text tonight. heavily outplayed. By far the best performance by either team in the entire series, no question. I'm sure the Oil will bring their best game of the series on Saturday, I think. But the Canucks have 2 chances to close it out. Not good. And another thing, there's talk right now about not doing enough at the deadline. Facepalm emoji adds in RBM. But I can't say they're wrong, though. They still need to completely transform their bottom 6, in my opinion. There's no energy line or banger line or whatever the hell you want to call it to start a game off to help get some momentum going. The CC experiment needs to end in the offseason as well. Thanks for the text, RBM. Thanks for the text. Let's go to this one. It says, hey, guys, I am sorry for the language, but I think you get it. That was embarrassing. Can this team figure out this is a 60-minute game? I can't think of one they have played this season or playoff. Maybe Nobby should take a hard look around that room and hold players accountable, as it doesn't appear the room is, and scratch some guys who contribute absolutely nothing. I'm looking at the entire bottom 6, Janmark aside. No one can beat the Oilers like the Oilers can beat the Oilers. I agree with you there. Better show up on Saturday, or that is going to be a miserable night. Good text. This one from Positive Oilers fans says, so much negativity. Vancouver was a better team this season, but Oilers have been in it all series. This is going 7. Who wins it? Who knows? Had a blast watching the first 5 games. Mr. Dad says, that was ugly. Credit to Pickles for keeping it close. I hope Noblock brought his spanking gloves for the rest of the team, Mr. Dad. All right. Let's go to this one. No name on it. Says it's not over until the fat lady sings. She ain't singing Saturday. The Oilers will redeem themselves and will take care of it in 7. This one says, does anyone know why Ekholm changed on the winner? I don't know. Guessing he was gassed. Thought there was an opportunity. There was a calamity of errors. A compounding mistakes type goal that the Canucks took advantage of. Let's go to this one from Jay. Jay says, McLeod line does nothing again. Did they at least combine for 1 hit? The hits and physicality are starting to take their toll on the Oilers. They're gassed. That's why you finish your checks. Game in, game out. Carrick, Connor Brown, Darren all have more points than Ryan McLeod. What an absolute disappointing playoffs from 71. Jay, I don't think you're going to get a lot of pushback on that one. Big Dave says, is it safe to say that the Canucks are just able to find another level that the Oilers can't? Oilers are starting to look disinterested, like they have no answers. Thought Pickard was good, but the power play had no jam. Oilers have no pushback when they're in their own end, and the back check looked flaccid all night. Randy says, that was a curious change by Ekholm as well, causing Nurse to be late on the game-winning goal. Really unfortunate. Hammy from Saskatoon. Ooh, Hammy with a lot of tags. Fellas, did McDavid have the night off? I swear I saw him in the pregame lineup sheet. I think this core is too soft for playoff hockey. Was the case against Vegas. Also, Hammy says, with Nugent McDavid, who continually get out-muscled in the playoffs, is our top 6. Why the Oilers are shocked or people are shocked when this happens. This is why I think I've totally flipped McKinnon better at winning than McDavid. West End Rob says, how can the Oilers not bring a complete team effort yet? Just tired of these players talking about wanting to win, then not putting in the work to do so. Boys, how much of a difference would a healthy Henrique make in the series? Wes and Rob, I think it would make a dent for sure. How much would it affect game to game? Potentially. And it would certainly affect the depth, and maybe we'd be talking about a more effective second line, third line, although I didn't mind the second line tonight. They did get another goal from Evander Kane. Good to see him and Draisaitl having some chemistry, something that we didn't talk about a lot. Actually, we talked about them not having any chemistry all season long. All right, let's go to Jose and then Chase. And then one Dutchy story to wrap things up as the Oilers fall 3-2 to the Vancouver Canucks in Game 5, trailing in the series 3-2. Jose says, Ekholm changed after a 20-second shift. Nurse a bit late getting on and then played Lindholm passively, giving lots of time to get the puck to the net. McDavid let Miller go untouched to be the odd man in front for the rebound goal. 2 veterans with no urgency to defend in the last minute makes me sick watching that play over and over. And then Jose adds, in with Carrick and Gagne, out with Perry and McLeod. Need a banger on the forecheck in Carrick, and maybe Gagne makes a play or two to get one in the back of the net. Jose, thanks for the text. Chase, you get the last word. mini stick broken with a picture of his mini stick. We can't leave it at that. Timber Woodsman says McDavid looked really tired tonight. Might be exhausting skating with Miller on your back the whole game. Good point. All right. I'm going to share this final story as we wrap up the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show live on location. Big thank you to the entire staff here at Hudson's White Avenue. There's a few people that have trickled in. Most of the people have left, obviously. Big thank you to Shay, Sarah, Julia, Berger, as well as Connor. Fantastic people. And hopefully this isn't the last time we're here this season. I have one Dutchy story, Trev. I don't know how well you know Darren Dutchyshen. I'm sure you watched him growing up on TSN. My story is not from really like the stuff he did on air, because he was excellent. And I remember him from his ITV Edmonton days. I remember watching Sports Night as a kid. Friday nights was like the night I could get away with staying up late and watching a little bit of TV. And I'd always want to watch Sports Night. Him, Salkowski, Ron Rimmer was there. KK was there for Kevin Karius, obviously. Among many others. And it always seemed like a good time. And that's why whenever we're at a situation like this, we're at a bar doing a show, I immediately think of Sports Night and when they were at the Boston Pizza lounges. And we have the good fortune of working with Boston Pizza, being in their lounges as well with EST. But I just remember, like, he was always a solid broadcaster, never really messed up. And if he did, you didn't notice it because he was that good. One thing I'm proud of or love hearing about is the stuff about Darren Dutchyshen when he wasn't on. Okay, he wasn't on TV. He wasn't doing a radio hit. It's just whenever he was at an event or when the mics were off and he was out somewhere, people always said, that guy was so much fun. I like being around him. What a great guy. To me, that's the best. That's the best part of this job. I strive to do that. I like to be a good guy, not just when, you know, the mics are hot or anything like that. And one of the guys I think of is Darren Dutchyshen. Gene Principe is the same way. Rashog is a class act. And, you know, people like Dan Murphy, Elliot Friedman. But Dutchy was that guy because he brought that extra little bit of energy and enthusiasm. And that translated on the air, whether or not it was radio or TV. Specifically TV, obviously, because that's how we know him best. And then the story I have, I said it earlier on the Hangout. I was a kid. I was playing against one of his boys. I remember it was at Millwoods Arena. Our team scored. I think it was me. And I remember celebrating, and I remember being like, oh, Darren Dutchyshen's here. I'm 8 or 9 years old. That's the guy from TV. Just a superstar in my life, right? You're a little kid. You don't know who's a local guy. You don't know who's a national guy. You don't know who's on Hockey Night Can. You just know that guy's on TV. He's here. I'm playing against his son. I just scored. And I remember him clapping and cheering for our goal and being like, good job, boys. Nice goal. And I thought that was weird. But I didn't know how to process it better because I'm like, we just scored on his son's team. Why is he cheering for us? And when I think back on that, and it's ingrained in my memory, it's because he was a good guy and he loved sports. He loved competition, and he understands that winning and losing isn't the be-all, end-all. In professional sports, collegiate sports, junior levels, absolutely. But when you're 8, 9 years old, he's just cheering these little kids out there having fun that put together a nice goal, and he's appreciating it. That, to me, says a lot about the type of person he was. I didn't really have a lot of interactions with him. I met him when he was at our TSN 1260 golf tournament. I stayed out of his way because he was super busy, had a lot of things to do. Everybody wanted his time, and he gave everybody his time. That's how I'll remember him, outside of being an absolutely tremendous, rock-solid broadcaster who came from Edmonton. I know he's a Saskatchewan guy, but I think of him as an Edmonton guy that cut his teeth here and then made the big leap to prime time after doing so much good work at ITV Edmonton. That's the story I want to share.
Yeah, well said, Tommy. That's a lot of people are saying that as well in the nasty chat. Well said. So it's crazy because I don't have any stories. I'm not going to say anything, but just the stories that were coming out today from everyone, right? Like he's just a solid guy, and like that's just proof right there. So it's crazy. I saw a video today of what you were referring to. He was like, I'm at Boston Pizza in St. Albert. And I'm like, and he's a young guy, and I'm like, look at this, look at young Darren here. Wow, like he's got it.
Yeah.
So it's absolutely it's tragic. It really, really is. Everyone said it. We lost a good one today, but really well said there, Tommy.
Thank you, Trev. I like that you bring up the BP thing, because one story, just to wrap this up, met a crew that were here, and they were talking about Dutchyshen, asking me about him. And I'm like, I told them what I knew. And they said they remember going to Boston Pizza on a night where they had sports night there, and they were getting loud, this group. They were younger, obviously, back then. These are people in their mid-40s that I was talking to tonight. And they're like, Dutchy said, guys, I've got 5 minutes left, and I'll be off the air. Can you give me 5 quiet minutes? And they're like, oh, okay. And so they were quiet for 5 minutes. And you know what he did? Brought over a pitcher of beer for the table.
Class act.
Absolute beauty. That's how you know. That's how we're going to wrap up this show on a positive, despite the Oilers losing and the negativity. Understandable, deflating loss. Edmonton down 3-2 in the series. They lose 3-2 in Game 5. They're not out of it. It's not over. The big guns need to be better. The bit pieces need to be better. Backs against the wall, balls to the wall, however you want to describe it. They need to be better all around on home ice. Saturday night, 6 p.m. We're on the air at 4:30 p.m. Live on location, Hudson's Bourbon Street at West Edmonton Mall. Join us, will you? For YouTube, Trev and Maddie Cassian. I'm Tom Gazzola saying thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for texting in. Get some rest. Deep rest, everyone. Mix in a water. We will see you tomorrow. Good night.